Hello everyone, welcome. My name is MJ Pestridge. Welcome to another P3D video. Today I'm going to take you step by step on how you can overhaul your complete Sky package, from clouds to atmospherics to even the sky colors. Currently we're flying over wherever we're flying over at 6:30 in the morning, and the horizon line, it has this yellowy, browny, sort of greeny tinge to it, advancing the time, and like that's how bright it is in the sim. And it's this bright because like this is the default sim. This is default, you know, clouds. This is the default lighting in the sim, and you can see, like, yeah, it's not actually that good, to be fair. I'm using 5.3 currently, but this, what I'm about to show you, will work in any fix. So you want it basically looking from, you know, like that to looking something more like this, which I think is a bit more realistic. So let's get started. Basically, when version 5 first came out and we were in 5.0, there was enhanced atmospherics, and it was in a beta state. They were still playing with it and testing it. And within that version, there was a consideration for an ozone layer that was built into the sim. And it really did have a nice, I feel, naturalistic sunrise and sunset look. Unfortunately, when we moved out of beta into 5.1, that ozone contribution was removed and they stopped taking it into account, and it led to rather inaccurate sunset and sunrise views. Like, I didn't really think the coloring was that good, which kind of prompted me to change and tweak the lighting within my CFG file, and sort of adapt it and then move on to the volumetric clouds to be more kind of getting back to what it was prior to this update. And that's exactly what this light package, this Sky package, is going to do. It's going to kind of almost revert the atmospherics back to a more natural looking state. As you can see in these screenshots, the coloring of the horizon line for the sky coloring is more naturalistic after. So how you do it is quite simple. I've put everything together in one pack. Actually, there is 3 people who are involved in the creation of this SKYPAC. Let's extract these files here into a folder on your desktop. Make sure you read this first. This does contain a lot of the information step by step on how to do it, but also it contains the code that you'll need as well to replace certain lines of code. Head into your app data roaming section for P3D, which this is the address for, and delete the volumetric cloud CFG, and basically cut and paste the one that's in this pack into the sim, just like that. Done. Next thing to do is open up your P3D CFG, and if we have a look at it, it's going to have lines of code from HDR brightness down to adaptation rate scalar. Okay, delete that. And in my document, there is this here. And basically, you want to copy this in a notepad of some kind, and basically pop it in where you just deleted that, and then save that. And all this is doing is setting an actual time of day for your night lighting to activate, which is more appropriate to the default one. It's actually changing the rate, the exposure rate at which the sky is set. It's giving it a minimum and a maximum rather than just an unlimited overexposed one. After you've done that, we finished with the CFG. You want to head into your actual folder for your sim. in the actual, you want to head into the actual folder for your sim and head down to the shaders HLSL section. Now, I really recommend backing up both the deferred composite FX shader and the HDR HLSL shader. I really recommend backing both of those up. But basically, open up one of the files, HDR HLSL, and you're going to come across this line of code here. In that file. Basically, we're going to replace this line of code that you find in your HDR HLSL file, and we're going to replace it with this one in here. Now, literally, if you've got Visual Studio Code, you can copy and then paste it in here. As you see, I've already done it, so I don't need to. I don't recommend using Notepad, though, to do this, because Notepad can actually change the encoding of, you know, if you're going to copy and paste, use Notepad C++ or use Visual Studio Code. I'll put a link down below to Visual Studio Code. I use it. It's actually quite good. After that, you want to head into my PAC again. We've done that one. And get this deferred composite FX. Now, when you open up yours, it's going to look quite different to the one that we're going to pop in. And I recommend backing these two files up before you alter them. Deferred composite and the HDR, putting them somewhere in a safe place as a backup, and that way if you don't like the changes you can easily revert back. But if you do, you have to make sure to go into your shaders location, which you'll find under users, the name of your PC, app data, local, and into P3D. And into shaders, and delete any file that you find in here. This process will not work if you haven't cleared out your shaders after implementing the tweak. And then if you want to change it back, you must change it again. Otherwise, again, it won't work. This process as well does not work with Evanshade or Reshade at all. It's not recommended to use those programs. So if we look inside the original here, you'll see that it's got certain, you know, text in it, I guess is to say. Basically, when we swap it out and we swap it with the one I have, it's basically going to reinstate the ozone layer, okay, into your sim. And this is important, really, because this one is going to get the biggest change probably to the sky colors. So replace that completely. Now, with this deferred composite file, I do recommend a complete replacement rather than a code replacement. You can change the file out, but in the shaders HLS1, the HDR one, I do not recommend just swapping out this folder, this file, for the one in my PAC, because at the end of the day, there are other bits of code in this document that you haven't changed, and if you swap out and Lockheed Martin have altered other layers within here, yours will not include that because you will have the older version still. So I really recommend you actually not swapping out the entire file for that one, but you can safely do it for this one because you're basically copying everything over. And that's basically all the files that you'll need to put into the sim. But the final step in this process is your GPU. Making sure that your NVIDIA control panel or your AMD, whatever you're using, is using a reference mode or a default settings. Do not play with these settings, basically. Allow, just, you know, override it, you know, and set to reference mode so you can't change them. But you want all your brightness, your contrast, your gamma, your bloom, you want these all on set values only, okay? And it's the same if you have chase plane. Make sure that you mirror the settings, or that you only tweak the settings found for brightness using chase plane's built-in system here. So these are the settings that I have set. in my sim. And these will override the actual sim itself. So the final piece of the puzzle is heading into the color management. Now in that zip file, I have included two profiles, one that says BT70 and reference display, one that says wide gamut RGB. I myself use the best RGB as a reference, but I'm going to set the BT709 as my default. You don't want to make like, you want to remove, if you have a HDR monitor, you basically want to remove any standard profiles because it might use those standard ones by mistake. Basically what you want to do is you want to be using a wide gamut, which I'll also include in the pack, profile for HDR monitors that have extended ranges of color and luminance in them. If you're on a 1080p monitor, then literally the sRGB is going to be good enough for you. You don't need anything else. But make sure that you have this set. Now, once you set this, you do need to restart your PC in order for those changes to take in effect. But once you do that, everything is now going to be set up, and you will see a massive difference. And here we are after we've applied the tweak to something looking a bit more like this. Changing basically the sky colors, the clouds, reintroducing the ozone layer that was stolen from version 5.1, and giving it a complete overhaul of color. That's more naturalistic and more realistic to what we do have. And that's basically it. You know, it's a 7-step easy process. The file that you need, the pack, the SKYPAC, is in my Discord down below. You know, install it. All the credit that has gone into this is credited inside that pack as well. It wasn't just me who created this whole SKYPAC. It was me and a couple of other people. And, you know, let me know how you get on, and I can't wait to see your results. For me, I'm going to fly off into the sunset, I think. I think I'm done with the sky now. I think it's time to start on the land, or the airplanes next, I think. Yeah, let's do the airplanes next. Let's PBR some airplanes. Guys, thank you very much. Take care. Good night.